The Oakland trial is formally closed, and the most interesting move this week didn't come from the courtroom. It came from Microsoft saying it's been set free. This is Musk v. Altman Daily. The trial's done, so today we're done replaying the courtroom. We're tracking where the money and power go next.
And I've got a SpaceX IPO bearing down, while Musk has barely cleared the courthouse doors. I've wanted to get into that all week.
We'll get there. First, that June 5th VentureBeat quote from Microsoft's Mustafa Suleyman, set free. Two loaded words now that the case is over.
Set free? Sarah, you don't say set free about a partnership, you say it about a hostage. It makes the whole thing sound like captivity dressed up as a normal backer relationship.
So now it's not just one Microsoft executive on the record. The Verge flagged the from the ground up framing at Build, and Suleyman just put his name to it. That matters for who's accountable for what gets built next. Careful though, felt constrained is a press quote, not sworn testimony. Legally, those aren't the same animal, and a PR line about superintelligence isn't evidence of an asset transfer.
Fair. But the trial closed without anyone in that room ever getting to ask it. The mission drift question got punted. Full stop.
Then there's the SpaceX IPO. TechCrunch's wrap names it as the next big Musk commercial event, Goldman and Morgan Stanley on the underwriting. The trial timing changes how that S1 reads.
Does winning on a technicality change what the lawsuit was even about? Because if you win without anyone judging the merits, your S1 gets to say, litigation resolved, and glide past the part where nothing got decided.
That's the honest read. A clean win and a case closed without a verdict can look identical on a filing page. That founder machine momentum TechCrunch is talking about is partly just the absence of a ruling against him.
And one more thing dropped in this same news cycle. OpenAI rolling out lockdown mode, per Engadget. Prompt injection protection, the same week as closing arguments.
Product team shipping while legal was still in court. That tells you where OpenAI thinks its actual exposure is right now. And it's not Oakland. Here's TechCrunch.
The Musk v. Altman trial came to a close this week, and the final arguments kept circling back to one question. Can we trust the people in charge of AI? All of this is playing out as SpaceX charges toward what could be one of the largest IPOs in American history, with a whole generation of founders already spinning out of the Musk empire.
TechCrunch's headline says the founder machine keeps spinning now that the trial's wrapped. So let's test that. What did the closing actually resolve, and what just got handed off to the commercial calendar?
I keep coming back to the question from closing. Can we trust the people running AI? And then the trial ends without anyone in that room ever answering it.
Right. The case is over, but that trust question is still sitting there. TechCrunch puts it right next to SpaceX, charging toward one of the largest IPOs in American history.
That's the piece I've wanted to get to. Musk loses in Oakland on a Tuesday, and by Friday, the story's about him taking SpaceX public. The empire doesn't even slow down for the court result.
But notice the trial ended on timing, not on the merits. So if you're writing the SpaceX S1, the founder won. But he didn't win on whether the mission claims held water. That's a different story to tell investors. The Edge writes,
Musk alleges Altman and other leaders at OpenAI enriched themselves by abandoning its altruistic principles and converting to a for-profit company with billions of dollars in support from Microsoft Corp. OpenAI and Altman have accused Musk of harassment and say the real goal of the lawsuit is to undercut competition with his own startup that he co-founded in 2023, xAI.
This is the April 27th curtain raiser from The Edge, back when the trial was still ahead of us. The number that jumped off the page then? Musk seeking up to $134 billion in damages. And the wrinkle he added that same month. He pledged every dollar of it to OpenAI's charitable arm, not himself, not xAI. Now that the trial's wrapped, that framing reads very differently.
$134 billion you swear you'll donate is the cleanest way to say, this was never about the money, while still asking for the money. Looking back, this is the itch. OpenAI's whole defense was that Musk just wants to kneecap a competitor. The trial closed, and we still don't know if the charity part was real or a costume.
Legally, motive doesn't decide it. He could want to bury XAI's rival and be right about the for-profit conversion. The court just never had to choose. VentureBeat with Michael Nunez.
In an exclusive sit-down interview with VentureBeat at Microsoft Build 2026, the CEO of Microsoft AI disclosed that a contractual change with OpenAI roughly 6 months ago granted his division the formal authority to pursue what he openly calls superintelligence, using Microsoft's own researchers, its own data pipelines, and its own custom silicon.
Set free. That's the phrase Suleiman handed VentureBeat at Build, and I cannot stop chewing on it. You don't say set free about a partner. You say it about a captor.
It's a vivid pair of words for what is, mechanically, a contract amendment from about 6 months ago. Suleiman's telling Michael Nunez that Microsoft AI now has formal authority to chase superintelligence on its own silicon with its own data.
Right, but think about the timing. This lands the same week the Oakland trial wraps. $13 billion into OpenAI, hundreds of billions in market cap, and now the AI chief's narrating his way out the door?
And now you've got another Microsoft executive on the record. The Verge flagged the "from the ground up" framing at Build, and Suleiman puts a date and a contract change on it. The partnership the courtroom treated as background is visibly fraying in real time.
That's the part I can't shake. The trial we opened with? Nobody in that room was ever going to test whether OpenAI's nonprofit assets were getting leveraged commercially. And here's Microsoft basically saying they felt constrained until 6 months ago.
Engadget with Igor Bonifacic.
OpenAI has begun rolling out lockdown mode, an optional security setting designed to offer users advanced protection from prompt injection attacks. For the unfamiliar, prompt injection is a form of social engineering that is specific to conversational chatbots.
OpenAI rolled out lockdown mode this week. Igor Bonifacic at Engadget has it. It's an opt-in setting that hardens you against prompt injection, and the trade-off is real. Deep research and agent mode get switched off entirely.
So the same week closing arguments wrap, the product team ships a feature that basically says, yeah, somebody can hide instructions on a web page and hijack our chatbot. That's a heck of a footnote.
Quick translation for anyone new. Prompt injection is the attack where malicious instructions get buried in a web page and the AI reads them as commands. Engadget frames lockdown mode as the last line of defense.
And notice who it's for. OpenAI says the target is people handling sensitive data who are worried about exfiltration. So the people running AI just told you which of you they're actually scared for.
Just to be precise, it's a security setting, not an indictment. But yes, next to the courtroom calendar, the timing is hard to ignore.
If Musk v. Altman Daily helps you keep up with the latest twists, consider subscribing and leaving a quick review wherever you're listening. It really helps other people find the show. You'll find links to every story we covered today in the show notes. So if one caught your ear, you can dig into the source material there. That's Musk v. Altman Daily for this Monday. This is a Lantern podcast.